Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you. When judgment comes for you. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes.
Well, as usual, we have to start the show off with some news of some deaths. I hate that we weekly have to do this, but
This is ostensibly a comedy show. I don't know.
a comedy of errors.
I don't know what. Well, definitely that, but it's just the following deaths have happened.
Yeah, I know. But we have some big ones this week.
These are okay. All right. I'm gonna let you finish.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews are I don't know. Every time we do a
Whoa.
Kanye bit, we need to update our bits,
Oh
and
my gosh.
his bits aren't as funny anymore. I guess, but I'll tell you right now, these are two people who I have had almost no interaction with their work, but they are nevertheless giants in the industry.
Yeah. I have to, Angela Lansbury passed away, and I believe she was 96 years old.
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury is somebody who I had a huge affinity for growing up as a kid, because my family gathered together and watched Murder, She Wrote. And as a young kid, I called it Murder, Her Wrote for some reason. And I loved watching that with my family, and just loved her solving murders and stuff like that, and doing her thing. And then, she went on to, she's a legend. She's done so much. She was Mrs. Potts, which I think a lot of people remember as well, on Beauty and the Beast. I think a lot of people remember her fondly from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And she did a lot of stage work, a lot of early film. Just a really well-renowned actress who had a long, storied career in Hollywood, and she kept on acting, so it's really sad. May she rest in peace. And it makes me sad that Murder, She Wrote is, it has been on the air for a really long time, but it just makes me sad that Angela Lansbury is gone.
Join us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Am I ending it?
You seem to want to. That was it.
No.
You started it. You had a middle.
Yeah.
You had an end.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. I do think it's sad, though. It's always sad when somebody passes away. And then,
Yeah.
the other really big passing this week
Oh my
is...
God. Look, you're just doing the whole show?
No, I'm not doing the whole show.
That seems to
this
be
is our opening,
what
right?
You're wanting to do opening and closing.
Yeah, okay.
She was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, but didn't win.
Okay.
Although she should have won for The Manchurian Candidate. I wonder
She was
how
excellent
popular
in
was
that.
The Manchurian Candidate when it came out?
Great question.
I should know
they
that.
remade it.
Because I've talked about that on several podcasts, and I can't. That's not all right. Okay. See, this is why we want an interaction. When you're here, it's way better. Not that you couldn't do it by yourself. I'm just saying this is what we get out of it. Yes, they remade it, so I guess they didn't get it right the first time.
Well, that's what they probably felt, even though I think that the original was excellent.
It's impossible to know because
in a lot of ways.
Yes, because everybody in 2022, everybody is going to say, that a John Frankenheimer film is the best film ever. But I bet it was probably pretty. There's a character in it who is based on Tail Gunner Joe. Do you know what I mean? It was pretty fresh still.
Yeah.
We can all agree that, and it's also subversive because yes, the Chinese
Right.
and / Russians are trying to mess with stuff, but we also kind of see, the Americans don't come off so great either.
No,
and
they don't.
It's a more even-handed political thriller.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe she was definitely recognized, but she didn't win. I don't know who won that year, 62.
Right.
But she should have.
Right.
That part is basically just that
She
one
was
speech that she gives.
Excellent.
But she's great in it. But she did receive an honorary Academy Award in 2013, which, If
Right.
I only got that, I'd be mad. But those are real Oscars. This is you got an Oscar. So yeah,
Right.
she's an Oscar-winning actress. Never seen a single episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, well, you should. It's excellent. So I highly recommend it.
Anything that comes in that massive quantity, I kind of doubt it.
You like Quantum Leap.
A croque monsieur.
Uh-huh.
What that's got cheese in it, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Or am I thinking of a croquette?
You might be thinking of a croquette. I don't know.
A croque monsieur is a sandwich, right?
Yes.
That's a cheese and ham sandwich. I'm
Okay.
thinking of a croquette. A croquette, good, right?
Uh-huh.
A cheese ball, maybe not.
Are you saying Murder, She Wrote is a cheese ball?
There's like 10 seasons of it. How could it possibly be that good?
It is good. I'm telling you, it's good. Well, look, it's scripted TV from the 80s and 90s, so maybe it hasn't.
Well, it's better than today. That's true.
Maybe it hasn't aged necessarily super well, but I'm telling you, at the time,
All I'm saying
it was
is
excellent.
nothing that is that widely loved can be that good. But I really do respect her as an actress, even though I haven't seen much of her stuff outside of Beauty and the Beast and The Manchurian Candidate. And everybody's suddenly pulling out bed knobs. You guys aren't bed knobs and broomsticks fans. Let's be honest
saw it.
here. Come on.
I saw it.
Let's talk about the other person that died,
Yep.
because that's all this show is
Yeah, I know.
at this point.
Robbie Coltrane passed away.
Okay, she's gonna still do it. Wow, she's really got a fire up her tonight.
Okay.
You do
all
it.
right.
Go.
Robbie Coltrane passed away, and he's probably
Cracker. He's probably best known as the guy in
as
the Harry Potter
Hagrid
movies.
from Harry
But
Potter.
he's Cracker.
Yeah, right. And he wasn't that old either. Like I think he was only in his early 60s.
Well, things happen.
So,
you know.
yeah.
Cracker was an alcoholic, chain-smoking, obese, sedentary.
Oh, sorry, he was 72. Yeah, right.
So I'm not saying maybe he found something of his himself and his characters.
It's entirely
I don't know how
possible.
healthy he was, but
I don't either.
He was certainly somebody who you see him in a movie and you're like, oh, all right, great.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Love it when this guy's in a movie.
Right. And I think that a lot of people are really sad to hear of his passing.
Yeah, a lot of Harry Potter fans.
Look, Harry Potter held a certain place in my life, and then J.K.
You
Rowling,
and all the other millennials. I know.
J.K. Rowling went along and ruined it.
But I feel like I think she ruined it from the start. But for people who are of an age to not have seen all the things that she cribbed from to make Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I did love Hagrid, though.
But I'm going to reach across the millennial gap to the Gen Zers who do not GAF about Harry Potter and Hands Across America for the Gen X.
Okay.
Cut you guys out.
Fine.
You're cut out.
I don't care. We're the Just Enough Troll podcast.
He will be missed.
I am one of your hosts, Mika and Hana.
Yeah, I'm
joined by the co-host.
I'm the host, Caliban.
Yeah. And
how do you fight Nazis with a bed that also has broomsticks?
You just do. It's
I guess
a magical
you just
bed.
Do. I guess you just do it.
Yeah, you just do it.
Nobody's standing in your way.
No.
Screw that bed knob on there.
Yeah.
We watch. So I've seen all these old Disney films because when I was younger, as we've established, is farther back than the people that like Harry Potter. This is what we had instead. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not going to go to bat for your Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or your Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, but they were weird.
Yeah.
Your Dr. Doolittles, your Doctors Doolittle.
Right.
And like kind of, so they just put like, oh, it's not like, what's youth group? When does youth group start?
What?
You have no idea.
I don't understand what you're asking.
It wasn't youth group, but it's for like, if for some reason you're overnight at the church with other church kids.
Yeah, why are you asking me?
But it's not youth group because we would be letting our farts or something like that.
Wow.
They put on the old Disney stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so somehow Bed Knobs and Broomsticks,
sure,
witches fighting Nazis, that went under the radar somehow.
They were fine with that for some reason.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
I would argue maybe they should just be fine with it anyway.
Yeah.
But we are at a weird point in history.
Yeah, right.
where I don't think that's clear. I don't think that's clear, and I think a lot of people prayed for the death of Angela Lansbury.
Whoa, don't say that.
They've been rewarded.
Don't say that. That's awful.
They would say that she ruined it. She ruined Murder, She Wrote with Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, please. That's ridiculous.
It also doesn't make any sense. Times Arrow is flowing the wrong way there.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Times Arrow also flows the wrong way in the movie that we watched for this episode.
Yes.
It's the spooky season. So spooky, in fact, that we are talking about dead people at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Next time, let's just stay on format, I guess. But anyway, we're talking about a very spooky movie this week for no good reason other than it's been 35 years since it came out.
Uh-huh.
It came out in October of 1987.
Good timing.
And it's one of our favorite filmmakers. I think the both of us can agree on this.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it's one of his lesser known films. And so why not expose people, to a filmmaker and a film that they may have forgotten about. The film is called Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
Which we did not watch in youth group. That did not
I
make
would
it
be
through.
surprised if you did, honestly. Because a lot of it takes place in a church and it's about Satan.
Well, titles are a big thing.
Yeah.
Titles tell you, and the cover tells you everything you need to know.
They'd take one look at
So
that
if
and
I
they'd
ever
be like,
made,
no.
if I ever made a subversive Satanist, like Satanists care what anybody thinks, it's not really the same thing. But let's just say I was a boogeyman, a Christian boogeyman, and I was going to make something that was like the Snickers bar, like there's the demons inside.
Right.
You just put like it's a nice guy riding a bicycle on the cover or something. You know what I mean?
And then you don't call it Prince of Darkness.
Yeah,
Obviously.
and you don't call it Prince of Darkness.
What would you title it? Like Nice Guy on a Bicycle? I mean, I don't know what you would title it.
I would call it
Going to Church.
Going to church, yeah. Alice Cooper's Happy Fun Times.
Yeah, right.
That's what I would call it.
Right. As long as people don't know who Alice Cooper is, then maybe you would get by.
Millennials don't, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about all that when we talk about our spooky feature for this week.
Yes.
I think that you had requested, let me see the inbox here. Yes, you had asked to talk a little bit about the finale of The Rings of Power.
I think it would be fun.
So we'll be doing that
Yes.
a little later in the show before our feature,
Yeah.
just to talk about our thoughts. I am going to go along with you on this one.
Okay.
But without saying I didn't like it, I am going to say I don't have much to say.
Okay.
I think...
That's all right. We can talk about it.
Yeah. I have a lot more to say about the House of the Dragon.
Really?
Yeah.
Which...
But I don't want... But I'm not asking to talk about that. I don't want to talk about
well, it's not the finale yet. It's just the finale of, I guess, spoiler of Patty Constantine.
Well, I'm not
being
saying
on
I
it.
ever really want to talk about it, but
Oh,
I would have
okay.
more.
I understand.
Do you? I don't. And so we'll be doing that later, and we'll also be talking about the news. What's up? Or as the Four Non-Blondes say, what's going on?
I've got a couple things going on. I don't know if I have time to talk about two things.
Oh, it's just two?
Yeah.
That is a couple.
Yeah. So I finished reading Like Water for Chocolate, and here's a hot take for a book that came out like 30 years ago. I didn't like it.
Not enough water, not enough chocolate. Which one?
Probably not enough chocolate. It just... I did not like the ending, and I can see, so it was the way it came out, I guess, like the author wrote like a chapter, and it was like put out in a magazine or some sort of writer's thing, like monthly. And so things would like happen, like all of a sudden, like a big event would happen and you'd be like, oh my God, it would just be like out of nowhere. And like, there's like no build up to it or anything, and you're just like, okay, and then you have to deal with the fallout of that, and it seemed like that happened a lot. And then I just really did not like the ending, and I think that it's something that some people would really like, and I could see how maybe it would have been popular back then, but it just puts a bad taste in my mouth for a book that's about food largely, and love. I don't know if I want to ruin it for you.
No,
but
don't ruin it.
Like, it just, like, I can see how some people would be like, oh, that's such a happy ending. But I was like, what is this? And I was not happy about it, and I would have thrown the book across the room, but I just didn't have enough energy in me because...
Gotta get some chocolate.
Yeah, I got to get some chocolate.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, without ruining it, I guess you can't,
I can't
find
really
a way to talk more about it.
I don't know how to talk more about it without ruining it. There's like a love. There's like a love triangle.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't like who she ends up with.
No. Okay.
And there's more to it than that.
It's already ruined. I'll never read it. That's okay. It's possible that if you were a 12th level podcaster, you could find a way to sort of obliquely talk about the way that certain stories are wrapped up, or themes that are or aren't explored, without just literally going. And then when well, you don't even know what you're just basically just giving it away, So just don't worry about it. It's okay. I might want to read it someday or watch the movie, so that's okay.
They were kind of...
No, you're going to...
No. I'm going to be oblique.
Go right back over it.
I'm going to be oblique.
No. You've already thrown up. Don't eat the vomit now. That's a dog thing. What is it with dogs?
What?
Are dogs lazy? They're like, this food's been chewed. Check this out.
I don't know if they're lazy or if they're just like, what is this in front of me? This smells delicious for some reason.
It's cat poop.
It's gross.
No, it's already been taken care of.
Yeah. Anyways.
What's the number 2 thing
Number
that you
2
did?
is...
Why do you get 2?
Because I have 2 things this week. Number 2 thing is I have been watching the TV show The Empress on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
I actually finished it. So I'm going to recommend it with a big caveat. But first of all, I liked it because it's a historical drama right up my alley. I like historical dramas. I like The Queen. I like Bridgerton, even though Bridgerton's like out there and is like does weird modern stuff, and that's their thing, and that's fine. I don't think it's like 100% historically accurate. They have quite a bit of liberalism thrown in there, but it's about
are they being liberal or is it liberalism?
I mean, they're just being liberal with their fiction, I think.
Okay, that's a different thing.
Yeah. And so I don't think that they're being 100% historically accurate, but it's about the Habsburgs, and Elizabeth marries Franz, who is the emperor of the Austro-Hungarian dynasty, kingdom, whatever you want to call it at the time.
Yes. And
it's a very interesting story, and like some of it does map on to what historically happened. Like he was originally engaged to her sister and then decided he wanted to marry Elizabeth because supposedly it was love at first sight. But it's very interesting. There's a lot of drama. He's got a brother who's very competitive with him and basically challenges like his every move and that sort of thing. His mother is all controlling, Franz's mother, the Duchess, and Elizabeth she comes from a family where she had more freedom growing up, and so it's basically it's like hard for her to fit into court life and figure out what her role is and that sort of thing. That's a lot of what the drama is about.
A lot of drama in that family.
Yeah, a lot of drama in that
I
family.
take it doesn't go past the life of the Empress, if it's called the Empress.
No, and it doesn't.
There's even more drama coming up.
Yeah,
for them.
I know. And
there's a whole band about it.
Yes, it doesn't go that far because it's very early on in their relationship, and it does show the wedding and that sort of thing, but like it doesn't go. It doesn't cover many years. It's only 6 episodes.
Speaking Speaking of liberalism, the real one, how are they shitty?
Define shitty.
The reason that like anarchists would want to kill you and blow you up.
I think they make
I'm
them...
not saying blow people up, but if somebody's mad enough to blow you up, maybe there's some problems.
Right. So they make them sympathetic. I would
Great.
say. Elizabeth,
Figures.
especially,
When are we gonna get
she
this-
cares about the people and stuff like
sure,
that.
she does.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have. Yeah. Anyway, no spoilers for
Anyways.
the end of The Empress. I was going to say, when are we going to get the sympathetic Hitler movie? But I guess we already did. It was Downfall, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to watch
Everybody loving Downfall should have been a real warning sign. That's when the canary dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, guys, I think we got to get out of this mine. Everybody being like, oh, Downfall, it's just real good. It's good. I'm not saying that Hitler was an inhuman monster, but I think that what he represented is inhuman. And when we go, no, but we got to look at his, he didn't get into that art school. It's like, okay.
Who cares?
But at some point, what he started became
Yeah.
what he was a part of, and it becomes bigger than him. And the fact that we're going like, well, it wasn't so bad. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
See where we are now?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
It's
could have
pretty
predicted
bad.
that with the Downfall thing.
So I just want to give one caveat to The Empress. I do recommend it. However, so I'm not 100% sure it was filmed in English.
It's a German
may
show,
have
isn't
been. She's German. The actress who plays the Empress. I know that for sure. Who plays Elizabeth?
Uh-huh.
The dubbing. I gotta say. So the words do not match their mouths.
Oh, no.
And it's very irritating. If you can get past that, then you'll enjoy the show.
Okay.
But it is irritating. But I look at their lips and it looks like they're saying English. So it's really it's like I can't figure it out. I think I'm like
Maybe
90.
it's like computer deepfake or something.
That's what I was kind of thinking, but it doesn't quite match.
Interesting.
So it's really annoying. And I thought maybe there was something going on with my Roku the first time I watched it, but it continued.
Okay.
So hopefully they'll fix that for the second season. Otherwise, I do think that it's done well. I do think that the actress who plays Elizabeth does a really good job. She's, a very spirited, impassioned person and stuff like that. And supposedly that's why Franz wanted to marry her. And then he gets, frustrated with that later on, of course. So anyways, so that's it. How about you? What's going on with you?
From one streaming show to another, I'm also watching a streaming show. I've watched all of the first season of a streaming show. That show is an Amazon show called Outer Range. And here is my, as long as there are no questions,
Okay.
follow-up questions, I recommend it. Review. It is a star-studded affair. Well, there's 2 or 3 stars, but whatever.
Sure. That's
It's-
star-studded.
It's Josh Brolin in an Amazon show that doesn't cost as much as Lord of the Rings, but you can tell that this show costs a lot.
Sure.
But at the same time, it has very humble environs. It's set on a Wyoming ranch with a family that runs a ranch, and Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad's James. Josh Brolin is the patriarch of this family. He's got a couple rowdy kids, and one of his sons. He's got 2 sons that are close to each other in age. One is a father of a young girl whose wife has disappeared. She left the family, and they don't know where
Okay.
she is. And so the grandma and grandpa are kind of taking care of the daughter because the son's kind of out of it still.
Okay.
And then they have a younger son who's kind of rowdy, gets in fights, and wants to be a rodeo star.
Okay.
And so they live next to a big corporate ranch. Will Patton is the patriarch of that family, and I love seeing Will Patton when I do see him. And he's real cuckoo, and his sons are worse. They are
Great.
really weird. One wants to live up to his dad's expectations. His dad is a real Mr. Burns type figure.
Okay.
But he's not making it. And then his other son just sings Whitney Houston songs all day. And so he's a different kind of guy.
Okay.
And so Josh Brolin is just trying to live his life and do his thing. And while he is checking out the South pastures, which, by the way, the rich neighbor's ranch claims that they own and they're going to sue
Great.
Josh Brolin over, he discovers a hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean a gopher hole. He discovers a large, 20-foot, diameter hole.
Sure. Big,
that
mysterious hole.
is just, perfectly round and goes down to nowhere. Like he throws stuff in it. You don't hear anything land. So
Great.
we don't know what this hole, something's weird about this hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. He doesn't tell anybody about it. And then the next day, a hippie chick shows up on his land, played by Imogen Poots. And she's like, hey, what's up? I want to, can I camp on your land? And he's like, okay, fine. So he lets her camp on the land. And weird things start happening.
Okay.
Weird things start happening.
Well, the hole in the ground sounds like aliens to me.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens. Oh, like aliens put it there.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Kind of like a crop circle.
Right.
Only it's a big hole.
Yeah. Right.
So the show goes on from there. I would say that it's kind of like it's Twin Peaks without being funny and self-aware.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it isn't like, oh, I love this sandwich. Oh, and like invitation to love.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of that stuff isn't there. I can never remember if that's Frost or Lynch. Right?
Right.
Which part is the...
I don't remember.
Because when Frost left after the first season and all that invitation to love stopped. But I thought that Frost was the mythology guy and Lynch was the guy who liked the goofy sitcom stuff.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So
which does also kind of pick up in the second one. So anyway, my point is that I would say that it is Twin Peaks-esque because it centers around these characters in this small town who themselves are very, I don't mean this like in a bad way. They're unsophisticated. They're not worried about, you'd have a science character who's like, well, the hole is the tesseract of the thing. They're all like, well, I don't know what this is.
Sure.
And they ask far too few questions for a character who is in peril in a show.
They like just ignore it or something like that, or?
Well, I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
That being said, there's a huge twist at the end of the first season. Only one season's out. There will be a second season that I guessed in the second episode.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say that it's not predictable, but I think that there was some great acting on display. I have a feeling that I'm not sure they know where they're going. Mm-hmm. You know how you get that feeling?
Yeah.
So I liked the first season. I would tentatively recommend it, but those recommendations do not apply to whatever future seasons may happen in this show.
That's fair.
And here's something that I'm a little worried about. The guy that wrote it, guess what he wrote previously?
What did he write previously?
He wrote nothing.
Oh, great. You've
is his
talked
first
about that to me off the air.
This is his first and only credit ever.
Okay.
So he was a playwright before.
All right.
This show is produced by Brad Pitt's company, Plan B, which he's trying to sell, by the way. Interesting. Needs that money for the court case. So that explains why it looks so great, and has got so much production value. But he has never written anything. He's from Wyoming, so he's clearly writing what he knows.
Okay.
And so, yeah, look. I'm not saying that everybody who writes something good at some point has never written anything, right?
Yeah, right.
But generally, we've seen this in other shows.
Yes.
Most TV writers and showrunners are too inexperienced in this day and age. So to have this guy do a fairly solid first season that is honestly anchored by Josh Brolin, Lily Taylor's Imogen Poots' performances. They're all really like, it's worth it watching for the performances, I think.
That's good.
But yeah, if you like a little spooky, a little Amazon, how do we get some of this Yellowstone pie? And then maybe it's going to be good. Maybe it's just going to crap itself out like the X-Files.
Oh, boy.
Check it out. It's
Okay.
called Outer Range. It's on Amazon Prime.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm going to go out to my south pasture and find a hole. It's completely round. As all things should be.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's talk about the news. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? The voice actor behind Bayonetta, a woman named Helena Taylor, is calling for a boycott of Bayonetta 3 after being offered $4,000 for her role as Bayonetta.
That seems like way too little.
$4,000.
Yeah.
How much do you think a voice actor makes?
I would think that somebody of her caliber would make a lot more than that for an entire game.
A voice actor, a union voice actor, which is to say, any average professional voice actor
Yeah.
In video games, makes around $400 an hour at the lowest end. And that's for one character. No, I don't know if this is probably down to there's like scale, right? There's
Sure.
like you must get this much.
At
That's
least
what
this
the
much.
union has negotiated for. But I'm sure if like you're the star of a game, you'd probably,
It'd be higher
the
than
prestige
that.
gets more, right?
Yeah.
But the base is around like 450, something like that. Up to 3 characters, because this happens.
It does.
Even the main character can also be like, hey, what are you doing? Like side character.
Right.
Up to 3 characters is $900.
Okay.
And then it goes higher from there
Sure.
per hour. So I don't know how much audio there would be in a video game about a lady going, darling, I'm going to step on your balls. What happens in those games?
Yeah, right. What does happen in those games?
4,000 is real low. That is basically a little under 4 hours of dialogue.
I
Not
doubt
even
there's
dialogue,
that
though.
much.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's by the recorded word or studio time.
Right.
Studio time. It's your
It'd
time.
be
It's money.
studio time.
Yeah. So you're going to need more than 4 hours to record an entire video game.
You might need more than one take on something.
Maybe she does some of the orgiastic moans of the angels who
She
are
might.
being... yeah, anyway. It's a weird game.
It is a weird game. Her hair attacks you. It's very anime. Yeah, I would be pissed if I was her too. So I guess
She's pissed.
Yeah.
She, on a series of videos on her Twitter, she goes full on, do you know who I am? I support her. And I
Yeah.
think that this is a travesty. But she's going really hard on these guys. It's like, all right, the internet has picked it up. Now you can just sit back and
Right.
let them do it.
Right. I'm a little surprised, I guess, that she's doing, because the game is going to come out relatively soon, sometime within the next year.
So they got
right?
Jennifer Hale to replace her.
Okay.
Jennifer Hale, I should go, of Mass Effect and, a lot of other stuff. Jennifer Hale, probably, the Brad Pitt of female voice actors.
Sure.
Who I bet made more than $4,000 for this.
I would wager that, yeah.
So you are Platinum Games. You go, hey, person who's done it for 2 games, lowball. No? Oh, so surprised.
So weird.
Jennifer Hale, here's a lot more money. Did they just want Jennifer Hale?
It kind of seems that way.
Was there a contract thing where they're like, we have to offer it to Helene? Is this a Terrence Howard situation?
It might be a Terrence Howard situation. That's what it sounds like to me
Well,
anyways.
I haven't seen this woman wear a hat, so we'll have to maybe Photoshop that on and
Oh
see
my
if it is a
God.
similar situation. But
yeah.
So anyway, well, that's it for me. Jerry Seinfeld. getting up.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little behind. I haven't played Bayonetta 2, but I'll probably just skip it now, as I'm going to skip 3. So Platinum Games, I hope it was worth it, because I won't be buying any of your Bayonetta games now.
Yeah, I
and
wonder
if
how
I
many people
hear
are gonna
anything
boycott.
bad about Vanquish 2, you're in trouble there.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
It's just weird.
mans?
It's just really weird. I guess I'm a little surprised that like she's doing this so like now. Like, why didn't she start vocalizing this when it happened? But maybe she feels like there'll be more of an effect if she does it now, closer to when the game is released.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of crappy corporations, it's just the same term, basically, synonymous. Something bad happened. I'm sure a lot of bad things, but one specifically bad thing happened at TwitchCon this past weekend.
oh boy.
TwitchCon is a convention run by Twitch, obviously. And, it is just a chance for Twitch performers and promoters to come together and celebrate Twitch and show their wares. And I'm sure lots of streams from the floor. That's
Yeah,
one of those
I'm
cons
sure.
where, do they even have Wi-Fi?
You have to. How can you not have Wi-Fi?
But like literally everybody is all on the convention center Wi-Fi. They're just going to blow that thing
Yeah.
out, right? There's no way it can
Yeah.
handle all the bandwidth.
Well, that's true. But how do you,
It's
you
bad
have to
enough at a
offer
regular
that.
convention. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. They put the T3 lines in there and
Right.
get ready. Battle stations.
Did they just hardwire everybody in or something like that? I don't know.
Everybody, walks around with a Ethernet cable.
Right,
up their ass.
Yeah.
Well, at one of the booths at the con, they had this giant like foam pit, and they had like
Okay.
I don't know, it was like an American Gladiators type thing where you do a wipeout. They had like a pit filled with like foam blocks, and you jump around, and you sort of like take the challenge.
Okay.
where you try to see if you can like make it across the obstacle course.
Okay.
And a lot of people did not make it, as happens in these things. We're here to see the wipeouts. And a lot of people were like, I don't feel good. I got hurt pretty bad. There aren't enough foam blocks in this thing. I went right through them and I hit the cement,
Oh my gosh.
underneath. And specifically, that happened to a lady named Adriana Chechik.
Okay.
Chechik. She is a Twitch streamer and an adult performer, actress, who broke her back in 2 places.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video, but she fell off of one of these things, and it was one of those things where you just land right on your butt.
Yeah.
And crushed her her vertebrae, and so she had a 5.5-hour surgery to repair the damage. And so she's in therapy, and she's had a good attitude about it, and she seems like she's probably eventually going to be okay, but not looking good.
Sounds incredibly
right
painful.
now. Yeah. So
wow.
she's been kind of like,
lesson. Don't do that.
what the hell, Twitch?
Yeah.
And
really.
Twitch has been silent. Twitch has not said a thing.
That's not a good move, Twitch.
And apparently it's even the booth that this was connected to was like a Lenovo sponsored booth. Lenovo is a computer company.
Yeah.
They made your computer.
Yeah.
I love that you don't know that, but that's
no.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
I know Lenovo.
And so they're like, oh, that's wow. I hope you feel better.
Uh-huh.
But like Twitch has not said anything. So all the video game sites, this is the big story right now. Like, well, that and the Bayonetta thing. Kotaku, Gizmodo, everybody's run with this story, and Twitch, as of publishing date here, has not said anything about this yet. So
That's really bad.
Yeah, what the hell?
That's really crappy of you, Twitch. You should say something.
Well,
I
look. Everybody. Did you know that everybody on the internet is a legal expert? I didn't know that.
I was not aware of
But
that
many
either.
of them deigned to appear in the comments section of some of these videos, and they are telling us that it's a liability thing. Oh, wow, huh, wow. We need a perfect, and I'm willing to do it. We need a perfect GIF to just show somebody. Oh, wow, huh,
Yeah.
wow.
You don't say.
Huh.
Yeah.
Just really to communicate the hate.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously that's why. But why not get in front of it?
I think get in front of it. That's
Because
the thing.
yeah, this is not like if this happened to me, I'd be SOL. But
yeah, right.
but this lady's like people know her, so
Yeah.
she's obviously got a lawyer, and I'm sure her medical bills will be taken care of.
Yeah, but if you break your back in 2 places, that's a serious injury.
Yeah, and it's a crush injury too. My a girl that I dated in college had this happen to her.
Oh, really? How? No, seriously, how?
Okay, so if you knew her, this would make sense.
Why are you laughing?
Because you don't know her. It says if you knew. So her hacky sack went on the roof. ...
Whoa.
So she went to get the hacky sack.
Oh my God.
She fell off the roof and landed, like Mario, like right on her butt.
Ugh.
And so she crushed her vertebrae. But it wasn't, at the time, she was like, huh, that hurts.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, oh, my back's really hurting. And it wasn't until she went to the doctor later, the doctor's like, no, you broke your back.
Okay.
And so I don't think that she had a surgery for it, but it's a thing where it's a compression thing. So your little vertebrae, that's what they're for.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, your vertebrae kind of fractures in there. And so
That sounds very painful.
this girl was, she was active. She was accident prone, but she was active.
Uh-huh.
One of her arms goes out too far.
What?
It goes like behind her.
Okay.
Because she broke her radius on the humor. She broke her humerus, but then just never got it set. And so it kind of like curves outwards. So anyway, we wish the best of luck to Adriana as she recovers
seriously.
in her physical therapy. And what the hell, Twitch?
Yeah, seriously, what the hell, Twitch?
Speaking of Twitch, we stream on Twitch video games every 12 p.m. Central. Weekdays, it's called the Laser Lunch Hour. Catch us there. Also at 5, no, not 5. Why did I say 5?
I don't know.
At 8 p.m. Central on Thursdays, which is the 5th day of the week. That's why. ADHD brains are weird brains. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, we talk about the newest episode of Star Trek. It's Star Trek Lower Decks right now. So join us for our show, Star Trek Disservices, where we talk about the new episodes of Star Trek.
Yes.
And I won't be jumping in a Twitch ball pit anytime soon.
Oh, no.
Unless it gets me a partnership.
No, don't do it anyways. And it's not worth breaking your back.
What if they were challenging people to do it? And people say, they all signed a waiver. Okay, first of all, did they?
Wow.
But second of all, if you just had let's replace the foam blocks with just razor blades, like it's just a real life Super Meat Boy level.
I know.
That no waiver in the world would protect them from that.
No.
You're just providing like a patently unsafe environment.
I mean, I feel like this is something that should have been thought through way more. Like there should have been gymnastic pads underneath like this foam ball pit. There should have been way more foam in there. There should have just been more cushion on that concrete floor.
It's all wrestling pads under the foam.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Well, let's talk about something else that's not thought through. That is the Naked Gun reboot, which is a go at Paramount Pictures. It will be directed. It's produced by Seth MacFarlane, directed by The Lonely Island's Akiva Schaffer, a.k.a. Keeve, and starring Liam Neeson.
This is the thing that just really stumps me. I don't understand this casting. I love Liam Neeson, but he is not a comedic actor.
Frank Drebin's a policeman. Mr. Policeman, I gave you all the clues. I said Seth MacFarlane, so stupid idea.
Yep, I know.
Akiva Schaffer, who, whatever you think about The Lonely Island, they are all just like, yeah, we'll just do whatever. No, we don't care.
Yeah.
So he's going to direct it. And then Seth MacFarlane knows Liam Neeson. And Liam Neeson has also played guy who usually is serious, but is going to be in a funny movie. Mm-hmm. And so he's our guy to play the new Frank Drebin. Now here's the difference between Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen. Maybe that's the missing leg on this stool, is that their names kind of sound the same. And I bet they all had a good laugh over that.
That's really stupid.
On their Zoom meeting.
Uh-huh.
Is that Leslie Nielsen, yes, was, first of all, he was a heartthrob. Like if you see Forbidden Planet, like he's a hunk. He's like Captain Kirk, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then he, went prematurely gray. And so now he's going to play old guys and doctors.
Yep.
And he's being very serious. And, the Abrams and Zuckers, is it the Zuckers are the brothers or the Abrams are the brothers? The Abrams are the brothers.
I thought they were both. The
Zucker
I thought they were
brothers.
Both brothers.
There can't be four brothers. There's not four of them.
I don't
know.
Anyway,
the airplane movies realized that we are doing this is a parody. It's not like they invented parody.
Yeah.
But there are all these serious airport. There's all these serious movies about, all the Irwin Allen movies, and like bad things are happening to famous people.
Sure.
Bad things. And they realized that, and so they made their movie making fun of that, but it was important that at least part of it stays on the rails. While Ted is dealing with his drinking problem and the nuns are, rapping with the black guys or whatever.
Right.
We need somebody who's got to keep this on the rails. And so they got Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
But the thing about Leslie Nielsen is that there is something about his face and his delivery that nobody knew until they started making him say things that were unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
That you just want to laugh at what he says.
Yes.
When he says, he could come out and tell you that your daughter has passed away. And it's kind of funny still.
I know.
Guess who doesn't have that? Liam Neeson.
I almost said Leslie Nielsen. So there you go.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
Lesson.
Yeah.
Put them together.
Right.
Now, I did it.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson was funny in that one sketch on Life is Too Short.
Uh-huh.
Where Ricky Gervais, no matter what you think about him, and it's fair to think a lot of things about him that you do.
It is.
He does understand comedy. Mm-hmm. And so for whatever reason, he's got this poor Warwick Davis. It's like, I'm going to take over your show for 10 minutes. And me and Stephen Merchant will just do a sketch.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, Liam Neeson stopped by the studio that day, or whatever reason they had him on the show. He went, what do we do with this not funny guy? Like, what do we do with him? And he correctly identified it's funny that he is not funny.
Yes.
And so he will say these things that aren't funny, but our responses will make them funny. So when he talks about my improvisations, funny characters, and he's doing it's funny, right? It's funny for that.
Yes.
But then Seth MacFarlane's like, oh, okay, great. He's a cowboy. And he's like, so it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I disagree.
I agree.
Liam Neeson would never bring a fart machine to a press junket.
No.
And while he's talking about this movie and how he, as the star of the movie, he sat everybody down and he said, look, we have to make these people laugh. And it's important that we do that. And if we can't make them laugh, then why are we even here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Watch the YouTube videos of him doing that to people.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I know.
and even he's like starts breaking up. Like he's only human.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So I can't wait to hate this.
I already hate this.
I can't wait.
Like, it's dumb that they're remaking them, first of all, because the Naked Gun movies.
Can we
maybe
stop?
Not all of them, but they were funny.
What is the human injury-free version of of a mass shooting? All right, let me rewind this a little bit. Can I throw paint on somebody? Can I Three Stooges myself to death in the middle of on Hollywood and Vine? How do we just tell these people, please stop?
I know.
Please stop.
Please stop.
There's a thing out now. There's a campaign out now that is totally astroturfed by the TNG actors, who they're like, hey, everybody, let them know that you want a new show. We want series for all of our TNG characters. And I'm like, I don't want that at all.
No.
I'm happy that I love you guys. I love
Right.
TNG. I'm happy that you get this chance to see your characters off into the sunset.
Right.
But I don't now want Crusher the show, Troy the show, LaForge the show. In fact, now I hope the last episode of the 3rd season of Picard is, you kick somebody in the back of the knee and then they go down on their knees.
Yep.
Right? And their hands are tied behind their back.
Uh-huh.
It's getting dark.
Wow.
And then just 7 phaser blasts.
Oh my gosh.
There's no more. We're not. How long are we going to do this for?
We're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Star Trek already has this problem. Every new show is just some new version. It's a reboot of something else. It's so frustrating.
It's like David Tennant, I don't want to say goodbye, with the Doctor.
Yeah, and then he gets to keep doing it.
Right.
And there isn't Matt Smith, and there isn't two other
David Capaldi and
or Peter Capaldi.
I say David Capaldi.
And I mean, this rant does not belong with Naked Gun. Who honestly really cares what they do with Naked Gun? But we got a real problem.
We do.
We got a real problem with this.
Yeah, they keep remaking movies.
I know we've been doing it. Well, you didn't. At first, they came for the Brady Bunch films, and you said nothing.
Right.
I know it's been a problem for a while, but Jesus, it's just so bad now.
I know.
Speaking of which, a Gangs of New York TV series is in the works.
I saw this.
Martin Scorsese to direct, because he's a big boy that directs big movies.
And now he's doing a TV show? He doesn't think that people are going to give him a hard time about directing a TV show?
The Irishman broke the seal, I guess. His movie that is essentially a TV show, as he's going around scolding everybody for not making good movies. He's essentially making a Netflix TV show. Now he's just going to make a TV show.
Why? We don't need this. Do something else.
Okay, so you know how his movies are really serious and guys are getting killed with bats, but they're also kind of slightly tongue-in-cheek and a cartoon?
Yeah.
And it works when it's Goodfellas, when it's literally, Ray Liotta's he's telling you this story, so you don't know necessarily what's true and what's false.
Right.
And it's this heightened reality and cars blowing up and guys are flying through the air. That's a casino, actually, but it's the same thing. The Gangs of New York is
which I haven't seen.
Is a story about, well, there's nothing to ruin. It's a story about the real life riots in the Civil War times, in the draft. They were called the draft riots.
Sure.
Because it was basically the North wanted to keep prosecuting the war, and they're like, we're going to have to draft some people. It's like what's going on in Russia right now. Uh-huh. And instead, a lot of people were like, no, we're not going to do that. And we're not just I don't just work in an office. I've got a butcher knife, like I'm a gang guy. So these guys like instituted these riots against the draft.
Okay.
And so you've got like politics, you've got like gang stuff, you've got the Irish people, you've got, Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall and all that good stuff. It's an interesting idea. Then you take Leonardo DiCaprio and Jim Broadbent
Yeah.
and Cameron Diaz
Right.
and Daniel Day-Lewis in one of his most two-dimensional, biggest performances. And the whole thing is just a bloody cartoon, literally. So
I can believe that.
I'll give them this. Oh, this is at Miramax, by the way. Miramax exists.
Yeah.
I guess it's owned by
What?
Disney, technically.
Okay.
Or not anymore. I don't know. Anyway, so they're letting this breathe more might help it.
Okay.
It'll take to the end of the first season for him to join the gang. That's when he'll get his butcher knife.
Oh, great.
Right. And then we'll see how Butcher Bill
Right.
gets his name, the Butcher.
Right.
Making it like less Scorsese would help, except he's in charge
He's
of it.
directing
So
it.
it'll just be a longer,
Yeah.
slower, more 70s rock song version of his film.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it.
I wish we had a good story.
We don't have a good story. There's not a good story
They just
to tell.
seem to always. I pick them, so
I
they
know.
must always be bad stories. Here's what could be a good story: the Legion of Superheroes is getting their own animated film.
Okay.
Now, this is the problem. This is the problem. It is going to be a new DC animated film, which is bad, right? I've shielded
I don't
you.
know.
I've shielded you from DC animated films. Haven't been good since
watched a lot
Mask of the
of them.
Phantasm.
Sure.
Yeah, they're all bad. Like Jensen Ackles is, the voice of Batman.
Right. Yeah.
Dean.
Yeah, I know.
They haven't been good for a while. But it's good to see that the Legion is getting a movie.
Remind me who the Legion is
Oh,
exactly.
goddamn. Let's just move on to the next story.
Oh,
Never
wow.
mind.
Is
Never mind.
that depressing to you?
The Legion is like DC's. Well, they're not DC's anything. They're superheroes in the 31st century.
Okay.
They live in a future that is, Earth. They live on Earth, but it's like Earth is part of the galactic sort of community, right?
Okay.
And so they're all from different planets.
Okay.
One guy's from a karate planet.
Sure.
And they all have superpowers. And they're inspired by, it depends on what era, but either Superman, Superboy, or Supergirl.
Okay.
So they
One
are
of the
like,
supers.
and they're all teens. So I was going to say it's like the X-Men, but like obviously Teen Titans is the DC's X-Men. But like it's like the X-Men in the future. And so they all deal with these, intergalactic problems. And also their feelings
Of
and
course.
each other.
Of course. Teen drama thrown in there too.
And they are this, property that has existed for a long time at DC, but yet it's something that has been rebooted, 14 times. It's had some great runs under some great writers, but everybody wants to. It's one of those things that has influenced a lot of people, so everybody wants their crack at it. So, not crack addict, crack at it.
Right.
So it's really hard to, when everybody talks about the Legion, they're really talking about like the Legion of like the 80s or 90s.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't know, maybe like getting people more aware of this through an animated film would lead to something good. It
Yeah.
would lead to an HBO Max movie that we could cancel.
Sure. Live action, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just cancel that. And,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
no problem.
I mean, I guess since this is DC, this could get canceled, even though it has been announced, because that's just how things are going over there these days.
I'm surprised they're doing anything at DC. Mostly because you've heard the news about Cartoon Network, right?
I don't know what's going on with Cartoon Network, because it's like it's gone, it's not gone.
Well,
What's going on?
People are declaring that it's dead, although that is
Right.
not exactly true.
Right.
So the Cartoon Network, as a brand, is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, and it is facing contraction, as are all Warner Discovery properties.
Right.
Warner has recently eliminated 125 jobs in their scripted, unscripted, and animation divisions. So they continue
Wow.
to contract until that line is where it's supposed to be. And one of those things is that Cartoon Network has been hit. They have let, I think, 25% of the staff go.
Okay.
The Cartoon Network itself, through its, it exists. It has rights. It's a corporation. We all know that. Has said that, that this isn't true. We're not dead. We still exist. But most people are declaring a kind of end to Cartoon Network as we know it.
Huh. Well, I wonder if they will continue to exist as we know it, if we won't notice a difference or not, or if it'll just essentially fizzle away like people are predicting. I mean, 25% is a pretty huge amount when you stop and think about it. So, I mean, that sucks because Cartoon Network has been very influential and has been, I think, great in a lot of ways. And I think that DC, Warner Brothers, Discovery, whatever you want to call them, I think it would be idiotic to get rid of it because I think it helps put things out there. And
I am not a millennial.
so you don't have any connection
So
to Cartoon
I don't
Network?
know. Well, I mean, I have a connection to it, but I don't know how it works. Like when Dexter's in his laboratory, he is from a particular creator and a particular studio, right? Or Invader Zim or whatever.
Yeah.
So Cartoon Network is the publisher, like distributor, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why, if you're going to merge Warner Brothers Animation, which, as we just discussed, with Cartoon Network, you're still going to be dealing with Invader Zim guy or Dexter's Laboratory guy, right? So why? Sure, you're probably not going to pick up the same amount of shows, or let's be fair, reboot the same amount of shows.
Right.
Look, why would anything die, right? If SpongeBob is the new Mickey Mouse, why would he ever go anywhere? But SpongeBob has been on for 25 years at this point. Do you
Which
know what
is
I'm
weird
saying?
to think about, yeah.
Like, are we going to give anything a new a shot?
Right.
So probably less things are going to get shots. It's going to be a lot more SpongeBob, but
Yeah.
it's not going to go anywhere. I guess I don't understand what we're losing with this.
I don't understand it
Because
either.
I feel like we've lost innovation a long time ago.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's
This will definitely be no more innovation. It'll be a lot more SpongeBob.
This is a murky story.
We've already got a Avatar reboot on the way, and so yeah.
Right, which I think is at Netflix.
Like I said,
I don't know.
they're all that's Avatar animation. Like I said, all bad news all the time. Here's some good news, and honestly, you're gonna love this.
Okay.
You have to watch the Dune prequel now.
Uh-oh. Why?
Because Indira Varma is joining the show as Empress Natalia.
Do I know who that is?
Yes, you do.
Okay, uh-oh.
Game of Thrones.
Who is she on Game of Thrones?
Lutha. Obi-Wan. Torchwood. Rome. She is the very beautiful British actress who never ages a goddamn day.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
Elevates everything that she's in.
Wasn't she was in Obi-Wan.
Yes.
We saw her in that. We were just like, why are you here? You could do so much better.
Well, hopefully they gave her more than $4,000.
Yeah.
She will be playing the Empress in Dune the Sisterhood. If you liked Dune, but you thought all the people that were just in the beginning and the end needed their own story, Dune Sisterhood.
So is this
Sick of Duncan, Idaho? Dune Sisterhood.
So Dune Sisterhood, that's a separate movie from the sequel
That is
to
a
Dune?
HBO Max series.
Okay.
A prequel series.
A prequel series. Okay. I would give it a chance because I do like her. Honestly, here's something else. I didn't like the Dune movie that much.
Me neither.
I feel like a series might actually fit it better because then maybe they would feel like they had more time to tell the story.
So here's the funny thing. There's some real landmines in what I'm going to say coming up.
Okay.
So you'll find them. You'll get them.
Okay.
So it's a prequel. I don't know how much of a prequel it is because it will center around, and I suppose the Emperor, who will be played by Willem Dafoe. That'd be cool.
That'd be neat.
It's not going to be Willem Dafoe.
No.
Who's going to play the Emperor?
I don't know. Great
in these
question.
dumb movies. It's somebody famous.
I think it is somebody famous, and I can't think of who it is now.
Crap. In Dune Part 2.
Yeah, Dune Part 2 is there's got to be
Christopher Walken.
That's what it is.
So Christopher Walken, who just did a Severance,
Yeah.
he might do an HBO Max show. Right?
He might.
If you're going to do this
Yeah.
prequel show
Mm-hmm.
and show the Imperial family, then you got to have Christopher Walken. You have to have.
Would you
does Vera
DH
Farmiga?
him?
Does she get promoted to? Is she going to be in Dune Part 2 then?
Great question.
Because it's a little late for that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know where his wife is. Maybe she dies. Maybe that's what the story is. Anyway, but it's look, listen. It's about the Bene Gesserit, right?
Okay.
And it's about their machinations leading up to what happens. Look, I know what happens in Dune, and I like the idea of Dune. Nobody's
Sure.
ever made a good film Dune, in my opinion.
Yeah. I liked Lynch's more than Villeneuve's.
Definitely. And that sci-fi miniseries. Oh boy, no.
That I have not seen.
But here's the thing, though. It's prequel, and the child of the Emperor and Empress is the princess, right? Who will be in Part 2, played by Florence Pugh. Here's one of our landmines.
Oh boy.
Now, tell you right now, she's not doing a TV show.
No.
You can forget about that.
Yeah.
So this must be before she's born.
Okay. Yeah, she wouldn't do a TV show.
Here's what I know. When you pick up a book or a film and you go, wow, all of those machinations led to this point, this interesting point.
Yeah.
Don't go back. The machinations aren't interesting.
Why would you go?
And I know it's already
let's
happened,
see-
and I know that
yeah.
there's already books,
Right.
in the series about that. But like when we've proven it with Star Wars, when the guy comes in and says, "Well, the Imperial Senate has been disbanded. How will the Emperor keep the system in line with fear and the Death Star?" You don't go, "Huh? Let's see how the Senate was disbanded."
No, we already know that.
We know what a Senate
Get that
is.
information.
We know that it's been disbanded. We know that this battle station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Sisters of Dune is coming out
Prequel.
soon.
Yeah.
Dune
All right.
the Sisterhood coming
Okay.
out soon.
All right. Well, not totally sure how excited I am about that, but
Not at all. Are you excited about the Wicker Man TV series? When are they going to stop? When do we stop? When do we stop? Stop!
bees? Yeah, I don't know. Does it star Nick Cage? Because if not, why am I here?
No, it's directed by Andy Serkis, though. Although I saw Venom 2. That means nothing. I want my money back.
I know.
My precious is my $10.
It is entirely possible that Mr. Serkis is a talented performer.
Do people call him Mr. Serkis?
I did.
Where's Mr. Serkis?
I know. But that he's like a talented performer and not
The talented Mr. Serkis.
Yeah, and not a very good director. You know what I mean?
Obviously the material is, zero.
It's not great.
Yeah.
But
And people were nice to his Jungle Book movie that came out
Uh-huh.
within seconds of like a different Jungle Book movie.
that was Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were nice to it, but now I'm
Yes.
starting to think that they were just being nice to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, you can only do so much with so much material,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Just ask John Carpenter.
I mean, he could surprise us and it could be good, but I don't know. Look, without spoiling The Wicker Man, there's a lot of mystery there, but it's a lot of mystery for a film. I don't know if it's a lot of mystery for a TV series.
No,
You're gonna
you
have
have to see.
stretch it out.
Yes, we have to see how the sisterhood made the deal with the spirits that let their honey be good or whatever.
You don't.
Honey be good.
That's how that goes. Yeah, that's not exciting to me. I gotta be honest. So, boo. I have to say.
Yeah, we have to find out how the bear costume was bought.
Oh my god.
And then they had to size it. And they're like, should we
Right.
make this punch proof? You go, what do you think this is?
What do you think about this bee helmet?
What are we going to be? Yeah,
Oh
right.
my
Is the
God.
funnel big enough?
Yeah,
And
right.
can it contain a Coppola
Yeah, right.
fighting to get away.
Yeah, exactly.
Frodo of the Nine Fingers. I feel like a Balrog.
As
And
Fiona
I'm
Apple
turned and greedy
sultrily
and
sings.
deep.
Yeah,
You wanted to talk about it.
I did.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
The Rings of Power has completed its first 8-episode season. Here's what we're looking at. 5 seasons, 8 episodes apiece, 40, we're out.
I mean, I think it's good to have a plan
Yes.
because I think then you can plan each season and have an idea of where you're going.
Yes, and sometimes really compress things in order to get them in time.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I guess we're going to talk about spoilers, but a lot of things were revealed in the last episode that we've been heading for. And there were a lot of things that were like mysterious. And like, I think you were talking about. So, I mean, it's like this is based on material, but obviously they're filling it out and they're making more of a story out of it. But like, why have this huge mystery of like who Sauron is? Like, people are gonna, obviously fans are gonna try to guess because that's what fans are want to do. And I think most people had it right. Like, I'll admit, like, at first I didn't think it was him. And then like by the time we got to this last episode, I was like, oh, it's definitely him.
Yeah.
So,
that's as far as reverse psychology or the double bind or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's the guy that it seems to be the whole time.
like, it seems
It's
so
so
obvious
obvious.
now.
It's not obvious.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's like, no, it's just that guy.
It's just that guy.
Yeah.
It's always
Yep.
been that guy.
Oh, it's hot and available. It's
Yeah.
always Sauron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. All right.
All right.
So why do that?
Well, I know why,
Because it makes good TV?
but I'm not going to tell you
Oh.
because we're in a rare situation where now I have the water for chocolate. And I know what's going to happen unless they really screw things up. And so,
I wouldn't say that's a rare situation. I feel like it's a rare situation. It's the other way around. It just doesn't
well,
feel that way.
whatever. The
'cause we have
point
a
is
TV
that
show
I know what's going to
or
happen,
podcast.
and I think I know why.
Okay.
That's why I think. Here's my opinion. I think this was solid.
I do too.
The only thing I don't like is, and again, I think this is part of where we're going with it, is that going forward, don't bother. I don't think the twists are what people are here for. I know that just feels
No.
like regular modern TV show, gotta have some twists.
Sure.
In the Lost vein or whatever.
Yeah.
But
right.
this is an 80-year-old book series that is studied as much as the Bible.
Uh-huh.
Everybody knows what's going to happen. Everybody knows every part of this. When you make Pompeii the movie, you're not going to like have Jon Snow figure out a way to like keep the volcano from going off. We know what's going to happen.
Yes.
See what I did with the volcano?
Yeah.
So don't mess around. All you're going to do is like make the people who knew it was him the whole time go, I knew it the whole time. And the people who go, it was him the whole time, go,
Right.
it was him the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like from this point on, treat it like something mythic. Treat it like something that because think of all those great twists in the Peter Jackson movies.
There aren't any.
There are none. No, exactly. It's
That's not what
played
we've
totally straight.
It's not what we've come to expect from The Lord of the Rings.
Right. We all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So just hold our hand along this journey. And, the Wheel of Time, these two series were in production at the same time, but could have totally showed you that. The Wheel of Time totally tried to manufacture this whole thing about who's the Dragon Reborn or whatever.
Yes.
That doesn't exist in the books. Everybody who's watching the show is like, I think I know who the Dragon Reborn is, but they have to play it straight. So that's over now. You've got 4 more seasons to just give us the juice, and don't worry. If you're going to do any like switcheroo tricky stuff, do it with the stuff that you've made up.
Sure.
There's plenty of characters that you have just made up out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
And I like those characters. I think that they all are very Tolkien-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I think that all works and it's fine. But like, don't try to mess with the big picture. Let that play out in the background.
Yeah.
That being said, I was pretty satisfied with all this.
I was too. I really enjoyed the series.
I think they wrapped up a little too much. I'm sure that they'll think of new things to, new complications for future seasons, but
sure.
I think it was a little too pat.
It definitely felt like the last episode in a season because things were getting wrapped up.
Well, the whole thing kind of is like, oh, here's Luke Skywalker meet the Rings of Power. Like
Yeah, I know.
That all had to happen right now, huh?
Yep.
If it was that important, you could have just started the series at this point.
So I do have a couple questions for you.
I'll answer them if I can.
Okay, that's fair. And if you don't want to spoil it, you just let me know. So remind me, because I know we were told, I believe, at the beginning of the films at some point, like, who of the elves wore the rings? I know, obviously, Galadriel and Elrond, but who is the third person?
The Elven Rings of Power?
Yeah.
It depends on what sort of age that we're talking about.
Oh, okay. So they're passed down at some point.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Because originally, so first of all, the timeline is like a little fuzzy here.
Yeah.
Because really, like there are many other rings that were supposed to have been made before this, up to and possibly including the dwarven and the mannish rings.
Okay.
As well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's kind of musical rings because
sure.
Gil-galad, Elrond, and Galadriel all get the rings initially.
Is Gil-galad the Elven king?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, but he actually gives it to somebody else. He gives it to a guy named Círdan, who is Círdan the Shipwright.
Okay.
And this is, this all takes place at some point in the Second Age, I guess. And
so when they have these rings, and this is all the mithril that they have, does it be worn by 3 different elves somehow prevent the elves from withering and dying? I'm confused by that.
No.
Okay.
No. So that apparently the showrunners, much like Peter Jackson before them, seem to feel like they need to create more of a threat.
Sure.
Because when you explain that, like, so what do the elves do? Well, the elves just kind of like, just sing some songs and then maybe making some baskets or something.
Sure.
And you're like, no, they have to do something.
Yeah.
Well, no, not really. Like that, their whole thing is they live essentially forever if you leave them
really
alone,
long time,
and so they don't care so much. But in the Peter Jackson trilogy, for somehow Arwen is going to die if you don't stop Sauron, and it's like, well, isn't it enough that he's decided that he's going to be the king of all
and just
men
take
and
over
the entire world will be under the sway and slavery of Sauron if he doesn't do something?
Yeah.
No, his girlfriend gonna die.
Yeah.
And in this, it's like, yes, the elves are always worried. They're always like sad about the fact that, nothing beautiful lasts, and so the world, is becoming less and less kind of magical. But there was never like, oh, my tree has goo all over it, so I need a ring.
Okay.
It was never that.
Okay.
And they've made that so explicit. Like the goo is driven back by mithril, and so they've got to make rings of mithril, and that was never a thing.
So how
it was always suggested that the rings could enhance the user's power, and so Galadriel has created, Lorien, which is this haven, where she lived, the Ewok village where she lives.
Okay.
And like it is perfect and wonderful and is reminiscent of the lands of Aman, of the West, and can't be penetrated by the dark ones and the evil ones, through her own skill, but also through the power of Nenya, her ring of power.
Okay.
And so once the one ring is destroyed, the 3 rings lose their power as well.
I see.
And so at that point, she's like, all right, pack it up.
You're shipping out.
Yep, getting on the ship, and that's it for us.
Okay. So, but like, does this save them? Do you think this will save them? Like, I mean, I guess we don't know because this is going at a different direction. Like, what effect do you think this will have on the elves, these 3 rings of power?
You'll probably see Eriador stop cleaning out. They'll probably say, all right, we're going to set up here because they need to be around this is the problem with the prequel, is that everything has to be in place, and you can move somebody out of place, but they have to come back to be in place.
Right.
And so if this is going to end where the movies begin, at the last battle, the last alliance of elves and men, at the end of the Second Age, then like Gil-galad and all those guys have to be around still.
Okay.
Once they go west, that's kind of it. You don't take an east road. There's only a west road. So this will stop them from leaving, and they'll all chill for a while.
For a little
then,
bit.
Other things are going to happen.
Well, Durin will probably become
Other
king.
Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Remember the Balrog reveal?
The Balrog reveal?
Yeah.
Is that the guy, the demon looking guy who lives? Yes.
And we didn't do anything with that.
I think we're safe. That's on the back burner.
This show loves its Remember those $1 billion movies?
Yes.
Well, we've got a $1 billion show that exists to remind you of those $1 billion movies.
That's true.
Which we don't technically have any access to.
Which is it's a weird thing.
For some reason.
It's a weird line that they are able to tread somehow.
Yep.
Here's another question for
Imagine
you.
if you were a Rolling Stones cover band, but you couldn't mention the Rolling Stones.
That would be awkward.
Or even really play any of their songs.
What would you do?
You would strut across the stage, and you'd go, yeah, Caro syrup. Oh
my gosh.
You really delicious.
You just do parodies of their songs?
Yeah, I guess you'd Weird Al the Rolling Stones.
Right. That's weird. That's
the
a weird
Moving
thing.
Rocks.
Yeah, right. I guess this is another kind of like just asking your opinion about something, because I think this is also something that was not originally written. So Nori and the wizard guy are going on their own little quests. Do you think that next season we will see the rest of the Hartfoots at all?
No.
Or do you think that they're off the show essentially?
I think they're off the show.
Do you think they'll show back up again at
Maybe.
some point? Because I really like them, and it's sad, and I'm sad that their leader got killed.
Well,
Spoilers. But,
yeah.
And I read some things, and I'm pretty sure I know who the wizard guy is. So, without spoiling things for you, but
It doesn't spoil anything for me.
oh, okay.
I know the entire history.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gandalf.
Well, talking about his nose, the thing is that this show has specifically done things, I think, to do other things. So having
That's
that
true.
character and having him kind of having characters on the show think he's Sauron
Yes.
only exists to keep us from thinking that Halbrand is Sauron,
That's true. That's absolutely 100% true.
which I would argue is worthless. And so having him talk about his nose does seem like a hint that that's Gandalf. But so many of the characters all say lines that come directly from Peter Jackson's trilogy,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's nostalgia, uncreativity, or just a plausible deniability that when he says something that's clearly Gandalf, so later on when he goes, and I'm Gandalf, then we
Right.
go, they can go, oh, he said the thing before. It's
Uh-huh.
like, everybody's always saying things before.
Yeah,
So
I
what-
suppose there's truth to that. So
Their subterfuge is so clumsy, you don't know if it's subterfuge or not.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Having Halbrand be a guy who's really good at forging things,
I know.
and also when nobody's looking, beat the shit out of people. Kind of like, I think we got our Sauron. But it's like,
Seems
no,
like a bad guy to me.
Eminem thinks this guy's Sauron.
Yeah,
So
right.
It's like, but does really though?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I still like the show.
I still like the show too.
It could have been way worse.
And I do think that the wizard character, they did things like he doesn't have his memory, and like he doesn't have control over his power.
Real convenient.
I know. It is. It totally is. But he did things sometimes where you were like, I don't know about this guy. Like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? And like I think they made it like explicit with this last episode that Nori was like, you get to choose. So then he chose.
All you
He
have
could
to
gone
do
either way.
is choose to do
The
what
right
is
thing.
what the time is given to you for
Yeah.
the choosing of the time.
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah.
In your nose.
It's very Gandalf.
Science is all about forces, isn't it? At least physics is.
Mm-hmm.
And in physics, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a God, by scientific standards, there must be an anti-God.
Right.
If there's a force that supports us, there's a force that opposes us.
Right.
And that holds true whether in the world of science or the world of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what is at the center of John Carpenter's 1987 film, Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
Which stars, he's definitely top billed. Does it star Donald Pleasance?
Great question. Like, I would say the blonde mustache guy, which I'm guessing is Jameson Parker.
Yeah.
I think he's the star.
Hey, he's A.J. Simon.
Right.
He can do what he wants.
Right. But Donald Pleasance definitely top billed. So yeah, and he's up there. He's up there.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jameson Parker that much.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more of Gerald McRaney than we've seen of Jameson Parker.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. There's a band called Jameson Parker.
Is there really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Must be a fan. Love that mustache, I
was
guess.
thinking about this, too. And this is literally one of those just chalk it up to the times.
I think so.
Not like the London Times, but like John Carpenter is, I think, way ahead of his time in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care who he works with.
No.
He specifically brought Dennis Dunn and Victor Wong back to work on this film.
Yeah.
And he has female characters prominently in his films. He doesn't care who he works with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is totally open to a totally multicultural cast of different genders. But there's usually a big white guy at the middle of these things.
Usually.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that guy may or may not have a mustache, and that guy definitely F's.
Yeah, and he
So-
may or may not be Kurt Russell, but
Well,
you know.
a couple times he's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, is that an author avatar? I don't know.
Possibly.
But this is definitely one of his weakest author avatars, I think.
Yeah.
But that's because this is a huge cast. Like, it is an
It is.
ensemble cast. And that's kind of why I asked, like, it's a top billing by agent only, I think.
Yeah. People know this guy. He should be top bill.
Well, yeah, Donald Pleasance, yeah.
Right.
That was in 1 million Halloween films.
Right.
Before we dive into it, can you kind of summarize what happens in this film? There's a lot of things going on in this film, but just tell us like what happens.
There
in the
is a
film.
lot happening.
What's on the screen?
So basically, Donald Pleasance plays this priest. There's this other priest who dies, and the priest who dies, it was like his job was he basically lived and worked at this one church that was more or less abandoned. And in the basement,
Ooh.
yeah, there is this large vial of green liquid, and he would go and he would check on it every day. But in the last month before he died, there's been a lot of activity, and this is no good. And we are led to believe that, I guess we come to believe that this vial basically holds the essence of Satan. And
Liquid Satan.
Liquid Satan.
Now in your grocer's freezer case.
And we don't want this to get out because that would be bad news. But we basically don't know how to get rid of it or destroy it and that sort of thing. So Donald Pleasance gets the help of Victor Wong, who is a professor at a local university. And is he a physics or physics philosophy? He's an interesting guy.
He teaches quantum physics.
And so he gets the help of some of his students, one of whom is Jameson Parker, who's the big blonde mustache dude who F's. And like basically...
No shirt.
Yeah, right. Basically the best students in his very small class. It might be his entire class.
They are PhD candidates.
Yes.
But they're all very old.
I would agree with that. This could be like second career, except for like the redhead.
Yeah, you know, my second career, PhD.
Right.
Like they probably should have, I think, you know, Carpenter got who he wanted and everybody he gets is great. But they're all like a little a little old
to be college students.
Yeah, like especially for physics, you think that like, you know, they always say that like all physicists do their best work before they're at the age of 30.
Yeah.
These people are all 30 or more.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So he gets their help, and then Victor Wong tells everybody that there's another department who's going to be joining them too. So there's another professor, and his students are going to be joining them as well. So most of them are scientists, and they're going to try to figure out a solution to how to deal with liquid Satan. But they don't know that. They are told they're going to go to this church, and they're going to be there this whole weekend, and they're going to camp out, and they're going to do some research on something. But they don't know what they're dealing with. And it slowly unfolds, and they all get freaked out, and they get picked off one by one.
Yeah.
As is the custom in a John Carpenter film.
Sometimes one after one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe tell scientists what's going on.
I think that would be a good way to start. I don't really agree with what...
John Carpenter, not a scientist, although works in sci-fi.
Sure.
And so I'm not sure that he's trying to make a point about science, but it's interesting that they bring all these scientists of different fields and backgrounds together. And I guess you would kind of say, if you're doing an experiment, you would say, just look at the findings. You know what I mean? We don't want to have any preconceptions. But somebody here knows what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
and maybe,
Victor Wong and Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't throw all these innocent, unknowing scientists into this situation just to get their readings and their help. Yeah. Maybe if you sat everybody down and went, because it isn't until later when the linguist that they've got, who is like translating all the Semitic texts that they have, is like, listen to this, guys.
This is all about Satan.
This is a memoir. It reads, I, Jesus, blah. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe we all needed to know this before we went to this spooky church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alice
Cooper's hanging around the outside.
Yeah. And I think I said this while we were watching it, but whoever the location scout was for this film did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Because and it could be like the interiors could be different, but the outside of the church, the inside of the church, all very creepy.
Yeah, this is
surrounding area.
And also just like the extras, and like this is mid-'80s, post-Reagan LA Skid Row, you know? So it's also, he would go on to do this or before. When did They Live come out? They Live was 88, right?
I think so.
So he would talk more about this in They Live, but you know, homelessness was, I feel like we just accept it now, but it was kind of like a new character class at this point in the new updates to the game. And so it's something that he's not portraying them favorably at this point.
No.
But it is something that everybody is sort of like concerned about. They're like, wow, there's a lot of people here that we don't know who seems kind of menacing.
Right. And I think that it's menacing that they're like working in a big group and that they're just kind of just standing there and they seem like mindless zombies.
But even they one of the things I like about this is like all these characters are scientists. Yeah. And so some of the people are scientists in like The Thing, for instance, but a lot of the people who work at this science base are just working man characters. You know, I fly the helicopter. I, take care of the pipes that keep us from freezing or whatever. And all of our scientists are approaching everything scientifically. And so one lady is like seeing the homeless people behave weird. And she's like, I read in like Omni or something like that like people with schizophrenia like do this and this, but these people aren't doing that at all. But she doesn't think, Antichrist possession. She's like, what does that mean? And,
right. She's just curious, like, what does that mean and what's going on
here?
Yeah.
So it's like your knowledge is not going to prepare you. Like knowledge is not a weapon against this force.
Beyond what you know and what you understand.
And that's a theme. Yeah. I don't think that Carpenter is anti-science, but he often talks about how science and forces in the universe, begar our understanding. Your Starmans, or your things. People don't like this movie. and I think that's sad. It's only 58% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is.
Wow, that's low.
It's a Carpenter that has not gotten the post glow up that a lot of his work has.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's too bad because I think that there is a lot of good acting in this film.
Oh, yeah.
I think, like a lot of Carpenter's films, we were talking about this the other day. I think Carpenter's films are not traditionally well paced.
Uh-huh.
I think that the net effect is that they are very thrilling and very tense.
Yes.
But they don't have the kind of pace where, the tension kind of builds and then it releases, and the tension kind of builds and then it releases, and those peaks and valleys keep kind of going up until we reach a climax. They just kind of go up at like an asymptotic curve until they are as tense as they can possibly be.
I would agree with that 100%.
And everything contributes to that, like the lack of pauses, the lack of release of tension, the driving soundtrack that he crafts.
Mm-hmm.
They all build this curve, science, that just keeps going up until it reaches like its point. And so that the two effects for me are, they're always very tense and you're always complete, no matter how long the film is. And his films are generally short by modern standards.
Yeah.
You're always engaged the entire time. But I can never remember what happens in what order in his films because they aren't punctuated like a normal, quote unquote, Hollywood film is.
Right.
So I'm always like, at what point does Wilford Brimley do the thing? And then when do they test the blood? Like, they always are like a fever dream that you just remember that they were really tense and scary.
Well, and then there's dreams that are a big part of this.
Dreams are a huge
as well.
part of this, yeah.
I think I agree with you. Like, I think it just fills you with more and more dread as the film goes on. And we were watching this and I was like, I don't think I've seen this before. And then they get to the big set in the basement with the green vial and you finally see the green vial of liquid. And I was like, no, I totally seen this before.
Yeah. The big thing of mouthwash.
Yeah, right. That's just swirling around and getting angrier and angrier. It's gross without being like super explicitly gross. I mean, there are parts of it that are.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah.
A lot of wormies.
A lot of worms.
A lot of bugs.
A lot of bugs.
I like when the bug guy shows up. It's just kind of scary. At this point, we don't, this oppressive force wants to keep them there.
Yeah.
Clearly. Because I guess if somebody got away, well, how would it stop it? If they took the lady away, because the lady has been chosen. She's the one who
she has the mark.
So if they took her away, that would be bad for the Prince of Darkness or whatever.
Yes.
But like, maybe it was it scares them into staying or something. If you look out the window and there's a corpse that is full of bugs, it's like, I got a message. You're not going to like it.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you're like, maybe we'll just hide in here. And that serves its purpose.
I think
but it's a good spooky scene.
It is a good spooky scene. I think it is later that they finally try to like leave.
Yeah, Simon jumps out the window and he's like, "Whoop, this isn't going to work." And he has to go right back in.
But the homeless people have like blockaded all the exits.
Yeah.
It's really terrifying. It's like not enough that you're mindless zombies, but you're mindless zombies that are keeping them hostage there.
Right.
With other mindless zombies, because as we learn as the film goes on, I think it's the radiologist first, and they basically keep describing her as like glasses, and she loses the glasses like pretty early on.
Right.
But you always know in a horror movie, you never leave somebody alone, because if you do, their time is up. One of the other guys left her in the basement alone, and then she just gets it. Very gross. Happens multiple times. But she just gets the juice right in her mouth and like in her face. Just like squirted in there, and it's a lot. And then she just becomes like this mindless zombie, and I think it's kind of interesting that the first really couple of major mindless zombies were the women. So it's like, does Satan have a thing for female vessels or something like that? I was kind of thinking, and then like chose a woman to be his vessel.
She's kind of, yeah, I guess there's kind of a pregnancy
there is
type theme in her being infected by this thing, but I don't know. I think you have like big cast of that's almost got gender parity. I mean, somebody's got to be evil.
I know. I just think it's interesting because I kind of wonder if he's trying to say anything or if that's just how it happened.
Well, I think it's significant that the person that, dies for their sins at the end is a woman, is Catherine, the character.
Yes.
So this isn't his best movie.
No.
And it's not his most complicated movie either.
No, it's not.
And I feel like in the 80s, in 1987, this might have really blown me away. Now watching it, I know which books John Carpenter was reading when he was coming up with these ideas. Like, I can tell you what it's probably like A Brief History of Time. Something like that, because it's basically going off the idea of, science can be as spooky as magic.
Oh, sure.
And quantum mechanics is the spookiest thing of all.
And
they even reference, without specifically referencing the quote, but like they talk about Einstein and his refusal of quantum mechanics. And one of the things that Einstein said about quantum mechanics is that it's spooky. He literally said that.
Oh, really?
Quantum mechanics would say that two particles can become entangled, and if one is observed a certain way, then the other, we would know what it is without being able to know what it is, and that's spooky action at a distance. He called it. And so he just said, that's just not the way that the world works. And it's like, sorry, dude. It's like we have experiments that tell us now that is how the world works. We don't understand it.
Right.
After, Einstein's Annus Mirabilis and the beginning of, the 20th century, we thought like, we're figuring all this out. It's weird, but we're figuring all this out. And then Niels Bohr comes around and he's like, no, we don't have any of it down. There's all these things that don't make any sense at all. And it's all the math, but we just don't know how any of this works. If you take that the whole way, then you say, well, if science can be something that we can't quantify and understand, when that's the whole point of science, then when does science become a dogma and a religion and something that we refuse to go beyond the bounds of? And the way that they rather explicitly sort of parallel the idea of this religious dogma and this scientific dogma that Victor Wong is trying to get them to think outside of. I just think that's like, yeah, that works. That's an interesting thing to sort of explore.
Yeah.
And then of course the movie kind of oversteps its mandate when it's like, oh, Jesus is I'm an alien and I came here from another planet.
That was a weird thing to kind of accept. Yeah.
But like Carpenter has to like use that opportunity to like stick it to the Catholic Church, because it's like they knew like 2,000 years ago that Jesus was an alien, but they're like, nobody's gonna buy this though, so instead we'll turn it into, well, like he's God's son and he's like fighting evil, and then we know the evil is like juice that is in this thing, but we're gonna wait until science has caught up with the evil, because the evil is not spiritual evil. It's some kind of interdimensional evil. And so once there is proof, then we can have, scientists will be able to prove that the devil is real and we can fight him somehow.
Right.
And so that's interesting. It gives, they talk about time zero in this, and it has a cool element where the idea that like prophecy isn't like necessarily God telling you what the future is or seeing the future magically, but it's like, they talk about tachyons, which is a particle that moves faster than light, theoretically. So theoretically, it moves backwards through time. And so if you can send a message backwards through time and somebody can pick it up, that is a prophecy. That's a vision of the future.
And that's what
it isn't a magic one. It's technology.
And that's what the dreams essentially are, what they say the dreams are.
And the dreams, and we never get the full dream message, which is read by John Carpenter in his voice cameo. But it talks in the message, there's a part that talks about like a causal, paradox or a causal loop, because they're sending you this information from the apocalypse of 1999 to have you to do this thing to stop what's happening to us. It's like a Terminator thing. Like if they send it back, then,
then it
isn't
won't
that
happen.
a paradox? Yeah.
So is it the redhead like the entire time?
Well, the
Who-
message seems to change, doesn't it?
It does.
But
A little bit.
we also don't know what is the figure that we see. And if the
Right.
figure goes from this weird figure to her,
Yeah.
and we don't know what happens to her at the end.
No, we
They
have
think
no
that she's
idea.
dead, but she's
Yeah.
just gone into the mirror universe.
Right.
Maybe they've only changed the apocalypse. Maybe they haven't prevented it. Maybe she becomes the Antichrist. Maybe she's the whore of Babylon or something like that.
Right.
And now we're seeing her emerge in the future.
Well, I was just kind of wondering.
because he wakes up at the end
Yeah.
and he's still having the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So when you send a message back in time, even if you fix whatever is happening, is the message still coming back? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But the message is different.
It is
So-
different. But
And I
it's
think
like,
the movie suggests that, things are happening still.
but it's like, was she always prophesized to do what she did?
Well, clearly not,
Yeah.
because she's not the spooky robed figure.
Person at the, yeah.
Who's the
that they
spooky
see.
robed
I
figure?
have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Was it always going to be somebody and then it was her instead of whoever the spooky robe figure was? I don't know. We have no way of knowing.
You know what they should have done? If I could give some notes to the master of
John
horror,
Carpenter?
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Work a little harder on your Satan suit. I know you're coming in the wake of Legend, and so there's, you don't want to rip off Legend, but like have the figure be clearly a very monstrous beast. Like this message is like, we're taking this at the site of the emergence of, the beast or whatever. Help us. We need your help. And so it's clearly this like demonic, devilish thing that then we later see is what's coming out of the mirror, but then change it at the end. So it's her instead. Because she looks very sinister when we go up into her face.
Yeah.
And there's like, oh, what have we done? Like maybe she didn't save us.
Well, I wonder.
That's what I got, even though that's not what the movie really showed us.
Right. And then I do like how it ends with him like about to touch the mirror, but he doesn't quite touch the mirror to see if like he can go through it.
Yeah.
Because then
Classic Carpenter
know.
bummer ending.
Yeah, it is a bummer ending. But if Satan is inside the one chick with a mark on her arm, who is the devilish cloven hoof figure that
that's
he's pulling
the god
out?
of evil. They've said that, for every particle, there's an antiparticle, right? And so if there is a Jesus, a son of God, then Satan is the son of somebody more powerful. And the
That's his
anti-God.
dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's just weird because, like, I mean, I guess this is different, right? We're saying that Jesus is an alien. So is Satan an alien? I don't know.
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah.
It seems like they're
Because,
from an
like-
alternate, they're from like an evil universe. Literally a mirror universe.
A mirror universe, right? Well, because like Satan was in the Bible was a fallen angel,
Yeah.
and that doesn't seem like that's the story we're
Well,
telling
okay.
here.
Well, you love Lord of the Rings now, apparently. So time to learn some more stuff,
Okay.
Sauron is a Maya.
Mm-hmm.
He is essentially the same being as Gandalf. And
I think you've
Sauron
told me that
is
before.
the Satan of Lord of the Rings. But Sauron has a big brother who is Avala, one of the gods of their universe,
Sure.
Melkor, aka Morgoth. So if
Morgoth is already dead in the Rings of Power,
not
right?
dead, he is
No?
behind the mirror. He is outside the walls of the world in
Great.
outer darkness.
Okay.
And so if Satan is the Sauron, then whoever this guy is the Morgoth.
Okay. Sure. All right. Using Lord of the Rings to
That's
explain
look,
it
man.
to me.
I got it. What's this? What's this? Sci-fi. What's this hand over here? What's this?
Religion.
Fantasy
Yeah.
or religion. Same thing. Got them together.
Yeah.
I got them in both barrels.
Well, I just think it's interesting. Like Donald Pleasance basically explains to them, yeah, we're basically like salespeople, and we're like, it's like,
Big criticism of religion, but
and he just says it so casually.
well, he's what do you want a crisis of faith to look like?
I know,
You know what I
he
mean?
does have a crisis of.
And he does have one because
Yes.
he basically like he turns out to be a big hero at the end.
He does.
But it's really in question for a while. And he finds out about the Brotherhood of Sleep and this thing that's happened. And he completely, like you said, just completely falls apart. And he's like, we're just vacuum salesmen. That's all we've ever been for 2,000 years. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. My entire life has been a waste. And then the monsters show up and he just goes and hides.
I know.
And as he's hiding, and Carpenter takes a lot for a movie that is, theoretically anti-religion or at least anti-blind faith. Carpenter spends a lot of time with his very talented actor showing this guy have his
crisis,
his Gethsemane moment here,
Yeah.
like his moment of just basically saying, "Where are you, God? Like, why is this happening?" But when he gets the chance to stand up, he grabs that axe and he just gets out there and does it. So I think that Carpenter is, mistrust authority is above the Carpenter family crest, but he's definitely saying that people can be relied on, in moments of trouble.
I do think it's interesting though that like what's her name, Catherine, she basically
Oh, she's the nicest one.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, you're talking about Catherine. I was talking about the lady that gets possessed. There's nothing about her.
Yeah.
It's like, Walter is like, I don't know about this guy. Or even our main guy.
I know.
Brian is like, is this a good guy?
I don't know.
He's kind of like a weirdo. And he's like stalking her.
He's kind of stalking her.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. And she like thinks it's like, and he says some things to her, which I'm like, to me, like put me off.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm sorry, can we start again? And she's like super nice. So she's like, oh, sure. And it's
let's
like,
do it. I know. Yeah. That's
and
weird.
it's like, what?
Yeah. But like, but the lady who ends up becoming
She is
the host.
Yes.
In the maternity shirt.
Yes. Yeah. She has an oversized shirt.
Yeah.
For a reason.
I guess. Is it Kelly?
I can't remember her name.
She's, like, there's nothing. She's just like this nice lady. But sorry, you're marked for Satan.
Well, most of them die.
Oh, yeah.
But
just
like,
about everybody does.
Catherine, like, really saves the day because once she, like, takes her and, like, dives into the mirror and makes sure that Satan's dad doesn't come through and that Satan is gone, then that leaves Donald Pleasance the ability to throw the axe and shatter the mirror that was liquid before. And then he says later when he's on the stretcher, I saved us. God showed up. It's all great. It's like, wait a minute. This was a team effort. And you and religion are taking all the credit for this?
But his worldview for him was restored, which is, okay, so the Bible didn't have anything about like, Tim Curry coming out of a mirror, but everything worked out. And so his mind is sort of snapping back to like, no, we figured it out.
I mean, it makes sense.
Because that's how he just gets through.
It just makes me mad.
Yeah.
That's all. As the viewer, it makes me mad. Like, it makes sense within the world of the film and everything.
I would have liked a little more with Victor Wong at the end. Like,
me too.
Having him talk to Brian or something and be like, I don't know. It's stuff we don't know. Maybe we need to open a new branch of science or something, or like, I don't know who won today, sort of thing. That's all encapsulated in his final scene at the end.
I think it is, but I think I also would have liked him to be like a little bit more apologetic. Like he did.
I'm sorry, I got all these signs. What did they tell the cops when the cops show up?
And what do they tell the families? I know. Like all these stretchers and everything.
Got a dozen dead scientists.
This guy's like slit his own throat.
I think Victor Wong.
This guy has a broken neck.
Victor Wong's losing tenure over this, I think.
I think so, to say the least.
No way through that.
I saw something. I want to get your opinion on this.
I'll give it. I've got a lot of them.
I saw something on Wikipedia that...
No, he's wrong.
He's wrong?
Oh, you go ahead and tell me, but I'll tell you that he's wrong.
I just wanted your opinion because I wasn't sure. Like, you could read into it however you want, I guess, because that's...
You sure can.
But there was somebody, like a film critic or something like that.
Not a film critic.
Oh,
he thinks he's a film critic.
Okay.
But...
I don't know what... In what way he was replying to this, but he said that he felt like this film was a criticism to the AIDS crisis, and because basically the Satan juice could be it was a communicable disease. Look, it is communicable, but I don't know if I completely agree with it. And then like Walter has several things that he says that refer to his possible homosexuality, and then he's literally stuck in a closet, like at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the 80s. The AIDS crisis was going on.
Hey, let me check this out. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this? Right.
Yeah.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
How mind-shattering your insights are.
I know.
This is from, I think, his self-published book of John Carpenter analysis and reviews.
Oh.
How much symbolism John Carpenter use in any of his films?
I don't think
Is
he's
the
really
answer
a big
none?
symbolism guy.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
No. He's
So,
more like, this is
you're
what
wrong.
it is. Yeah.
That guy is not gay. So I
No.
don't know what he
I know.
thinks he's doing.
I know. I read that and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, I wonder what he thinks about John Carpenter's vampires,
Great question.
which would definitely be, at the tail end, at the reflective end of the AIDS epidemic. I don't think that that's true at all. I guess I can't. Yeah. We'll have to ask Uncle John ourselves.
Yeah.
But I know what he'll say. No, what?
Right. I know.
Walter is an asshole who
Yes.
tells, you're supposed to ask why this guy. When Kelly's so nice and she becomes the host of Satan, and then everybody hates Walter because he's a loudmouth and an asshole.
He's annoying.
And he makes it to the end. Like, you're supposed to wonder, like, two will be in the field and one will be taken and one will be left. Like, why is it the way it is?
I don't think that the Satan juice cared who it picked. It was like whoever was there, and it was going to infect as many people as it could and in whatever way it could.
Yeah. You need two people to carry the tube. So it's got number one and number two.
Somehow they got up the stairs with
and
it.
the third one they ran into. Maybe it has to be a woman because of the impregnation sort of angle to it.
The gestation thing. Yeah.
But yeah, and then like he's hiding in a closet. Yeah, okay. So then what does it mean that his friends broke a hole in the closet and helped him out? Is that pride?
Yeah.
You know what? Like it's okay. You don't know what you're talking about. That's okay.
I know. I
guess anybody can publish a book.
I think you're reading into it.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I did think it was weird.
He's a trait attacked by women and he's in a closet. What the hell are you talking about?
I know.
What an idiot.
I know. I did think
I know people who know that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He'll never hear this.
I did think it was weird that like the really gross juice just like sprayed into the two ladies' mouths and then
it sprayed into guys' mouths too. Does that mean that like trumpet mouth guy is gay? Oh, maybe he's got a little on him.
But like
a little friendly fire.
But like the one guy
What the hell are you talking about?
I know. But like the one guy, like instead of it getting sprayed into his mouth, they kissed him.
If you go to Wikipedia and we track who, the IP address of who edited this.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would go to Mr. Reviewer's computer.
I don't
know.
What
I mean?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, sorry. You're spraying in people's mouths. Wait.
Well, it's spraying in people's mouths, but then like the one guy gets kissed and it gets sprayed in his mouth that way. Was that to save money? Like why does he get kissed? And like the other lady doesn't get kissed by a lady.
I don't know. Maybe the actor didn't want spray in his mouth. Maybe is that the guy? Who's the guy who gets kissed?
I think it's the really tall black guy.
Oh, okay. Maybe he didn't want to get spray in his mouth. Maybe John Carpenter was like,
we need a kiss in here somewhere.
I don't think it was that. I think maybe it was like. What was I going to say? I don't know. Maybe he wanted to like shock people. It's mid '80s. A white person kissing a black person, maybe still a big deal.
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know.
All right.
Did he seem different than the other possessed people? He had like a whole personality.
Yes, because the other possessed people were just.
What's
zombies.
our film critic have to say about that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was
not going to touch that one.
But it was weird because
why is the black guy doing like a crazy Sidney Poitier type thing?
Yeah, well, it was weird because like he got the juice when he was kissed because we heard it,
and he got set loose.
And then it was like it affected him differently or something. But he went in front of them and then slit his own throat as if. Like he wasn't a zombie. So then they like took care of him and then he got back up.
Right.
And then he was like laughing like he was crazy.
Yeah. And then he goes and you get the sense, it's kind of cool that you get the sense that whatever this thing is that's controlling them, it's sort of like a hive mind, So
yeah, that's true.
She finds, I don't know if the possessed woman. I don't know if
Yes.
if there was ever a plan, like if Satan, had an instruction booklet, but he sees the compact in the mirror and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can get through this. So it seems that seems like a moment of discovery, but then Slit Throat guy sees the mirror. He's fascinated by
Yes.
the mirror, but he's not like turning it on and like energizing it or whatever. But you see her kind of react like she's seeing the mirror like through his eyes, like she's aware of
Yeah.
it because this guy has this. So maybe maybe there's a evil Adam and Eve. Maybe they're the evil Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Like some people are just mindless automatons, but he's there to sort
show the mirror
of
to her.
to bear witness
Yeah.
to what happens. Maybe he's
Yeah.
through a lot of religious stuff. Maybe he's the John the Baptist to her evil Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Because the laughing is what's weird. Like he is,
It
and he's singing
is.
Amazing Grace. It's like this sort of
Yes.
unholy sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? He's the John the Baptist. I'm gonna land on that.
Okay.
Suck on that, Mr. Film Critic. Oh no, don't suck on it because clearly you're very worried about gay people and
Oh
AIDS.
my gosh, please stop.
Would you recommend this?
Yeah, I would recommend it. I do think, like you said, and I would say this as well, this is not John Carpenter's best film, but I think it's an entertaining film.
10 films, each one of them watchable.
Yeah.
The Amber Heard one, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you going to say? Of course.
Yeah. But I would say I would recommend it. Oh, we didn't even talk about Alice Cooper's part. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say.
There's not much to talk about.
He's
I
just
think,
like one of the homeless people.
I think they had the same manager or something like that.
Yes, I read that.
Yeah, I don't know how that even works. You're going to
don't
need a better
either.
manager, Carpenter. But this is mid-'80s Carpenter. Like, the bloom is kind of already off the rose for him in Hollywood. And so they're like, let's get him in here. And he like wrote a song for the movie, but
Yes.
it's not really featured in the movie.
It's on like the headphones of the guy who becomes the bug
Yeah.
guy, I read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who stabbed by Alice Cooper with a half scissors.
With a bike. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, yeah. No, that was the homeless lady. Stabs,
no, you're right.
beard guy.
Oh, you're right. And then
I think it's the
Alice
chemist.
Cooper with the bike
Yeah.
and the chemist. You're right.
bicycle
the
built
first
for
guy
one.
who gets killed.
One penetration. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of blood.
Nothing
in
to
that.
say about that, Mr. Reviewer guy. So glad you brought him up. We needed a punching bag for this segment.
Well, there you
I would
go.
absolutely recommend this. I would recommend watching it for Halloween, for good spooky times. And it is one of those films that I think, I mean, we've had a rewarding, long conversation about it. I think that there is, in the sort of missing parts, in what it maybe lacks, it's there for you to fill in. I think there's a lot of things to talk about. A lot of ideas that you get in this movie. One of an unofficial trilogy, the Apocalypse trilogy,
Yes, I read
along with
that.
The Thing and In the Mouth of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
The Thing, I think everybody agrees now, unqualified success. In the Mouth of Madness, another film that maybe people don't love so much.
Yeah.
But is another film that I think leaves you thinking about what's going on.
Oh, definitely.
It makes fun of Stephen King, but I think you have to be a Stephen King fan to like In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
And I like it despite the fact
That you're not a Stephen King
that
fan.
I am not one. But yeah, go on and get your liquid Satan.
Oh my god.
Gotta get out there.
Energy drink.
Now with more taurine.
Yeah, right.
It's a bull.
Oh my god.
It's got cloven hooves.
Yes.
Who names a chemical taurine?
I don't know. A chemist that's just like, I know, taurine. I don't know.
It's like an amino acid, right?
Yeah.
It must have like horns in its structure, and some guy's like, we got it, taurine.
It must. That's, yeah.
And then later on, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, it's it makes you strong like a bull.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's found in bile."
Ew. That's gross. That's a gross fact that I did not know before.
I had one today.
Oh my gosh.
That explains so much. Look, we'd love to explain more things to you on our social medias at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Search for Just Enough Trope and join us. Tell us, what do you think about taurine? Good?
Bad? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
What do you think about amino acids?
Yeah.
What do you think about amino acids?
Ooh, no money.
Share all your thoughts with us on social media. Also on our Discord. There's a link to our Discord in our show notes. Join us there. Talk about some of your favorite spooky movies.
Yeah.
Let's get a conversation going about that. Is it John Carpenter's Halloween?
Halloween is pretty good.
Is it John Carpenter's The Fog?
Mm-hmm.
Is it John Carpenter's The Thing?
Is it not a John Carpenter movie?
Or is it just only ever John Carpenter movie?
Yeah.
Is it the scarier parts of They Live?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is it the scariest thing of all? The fact that we are all trapped in a capitalist hegemonic system.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's probably what it is.
It's pretty terrifying.
You want to do They Live next week?
We could.
What if we just make it a Carpenter October?
We could make it a Carpenter October. Don't we have to do our Patreon show?
He's already, not next week.
Oh, it's not next week?
Isn't it?
I don't know. I lose track of the time.
It is. We should. We got to get it in before the end. So
Okay.
yeah, never mind. Maybe we'll put a choice to the Discord or the Patreon.
Yeah.
What John Carpenter movie you want to see?
Sure.
Since you brought it up, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/justenough-trope. If you become a member that is a producer of the show, you get extra content. You get to help us decide what we talk about on the show in our final Patreon producer show for the end of the month. Check us out there if you want to help keep the lights on here at the show. Go to your listening platform of choice. I shouldn't have to say this, so I won't belabor it. Go to your listening platform, your podcast app, and subscribe to our show. Give us a rating and a review. It really does help us out.
Yeah.
Give us 5 heads that just, no problem.
I'll just stick
that
it back on
right
there.
back on the body. A very simple
Yeah.
effect and yet very creepy. And if you're the actress,
Yes.
you just go like your head's up, and then we'll go down. We'll just cut in right there.
Pretty much.
And then just give us a little, and then you got it. It's back on.
Yeah. It's
Very
super effective and creepy.
Love it. Yeah. Give
Yeah.
us 5 stars as a rating. We'd appreciate that. We'll be back next week to talk about our Patreon producer pick, our 3 Ps for the month. Something really spooky. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.